There are many different like codes and conventions in a horror film, especially like as there are so many different. It is just put into one genre, but there are so many different types of horror films out there. The three films I looked at were the Dawn of the Dead, the newer version, Signs, and the other one was 28 Weeks Later. Now, all three of those films, two of them are quite similar, but at the same time they are different in quite a few different ways. But Signs especially is probably very similar to the other two. It's more of a it's science fiction at the same time, but it also uses a lot of horror elements in it. For instance, there's the scenes in it where the knife, Mel Gibson puts a knife under the door to see if the aliens are in there after he hears noises, and at first you can't see anything in the reflection of the knife, and you think, oh, it's clear, and as soon he pulls the knife away, and then seemingly to surprise the audience, the alien's hand comes from underneath the door. It catches you by surprise, catches you off guard, and then that creates an even bigger jump scare than what would necessarily have happened if you'd have seen the reflection of the alien straight away. The other examples are the sort of the creatures or the aliens aren't revealed to the audience until the very end of the film. So the whole way through, the suspense of what these things actually are is used against the audience. Like you see home video footage of the alien, but of course it's home video footage, so it's blurry, it's grainy, it's a child's party, so you don't really get a great idea of what they are. So the suspense of not knowing what they're dealing with also creates a lot of fear. In the other two films, Dawn of the Dead, they use the idea of being trapped in places where you're overrun. The odds are against you. It's not like they're just fighting 2 or 3 zombies and then the rest of the world, and then they've saved the world because they've figured out how to kill them. They've got hundreds of them, there's thousands of them. The majority of the population are zombies, and they're confined to a very small area. So that sense of claustrophobia and the way that's presented, that is what creates the fear. They are like the old type of zombies. They're the stumbling zombies, the sort of zombies that will pile on one person and eat them and then move on to the next. But the idea, the way the camera lingers on when the victim's screaming, like when the zombie gets a hold of someone and eats them, the camera doesn't shy away from those actions, and you see the fear on the individual's face, which really shows the fear and creates fear amongst the audience. 28 Weeks Later does it a bit differently, whereas they use the method of surprise as well. Whereas in these films, the zombies aren't slow; they sprint at full speed. So it's not like what you expect to see, because these zombies are relentless. They run, and they'll sprint, and they don't stop until they get you. It is one of the films that this is what in the film really creates the fear, because it's not like you can get away from these easily. They will run and run and run. They're not human. They will never stop until they get you. So that is really what creates the fear in the film. There's also in all three of the other films, they use all kinds of other codes and conventions that you'd expect to see in the horror film. Like they use the violins slowly getting louder and louder and then going silent, and then after a couple of seconds there's a huge explosion of sound where to catch the audience off guard, which really kicks the fear in again and catches them by surprise and makes the whole scene scarier. They just use the typical jump scenes, like things that aren't actually scary, but they'll throw them in there to create fear. So they'll give you the sense of they'll take you away. They'll put you into they'll make you feel at ease in your surroundings and make you scared and just laugh at yourself for jumping at that, and then throw the actual horror into your face quickly, so you are actually terrified and then thrown completely out of your comfort zone. So all of these kind of codes and conventions are seen within these three films, and they're things that I've tried to put into my own film, which hopefully I have and you will see throughout my course.